foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about pros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about
comic books, costumes,
Facts. Boots.
and other stuff.
In this week's issue, World's Finest Wednesday.
Welcome into Bros, Foes, and Heroes, another Wednesday edition, or a World's Finest Wednesday around here, as we are going to continue and wrap up the cliffhanger I left you all with last week from World's Finest issue number 189. We're obviously moving on to the next issue, which is number 190, which is the second part of our story here, though, to find out what happened to Superman's body parts.
I need to know where his parts be.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to say, but we're going to go ahead and clear up the rest of that. Real quick before we get into it, want to mention, just because I haven't done it in a while and I thought about it, Bros, Foes, and Foes and Heroes at gmail.com. If you want to go ahead and shoot us an email, tell us about something you'd like for us to cover. Maybe it's something that you think we got wrong, or something that you just enjoy and you want to say, hey, thanks for this, whatever.
Sure.
Another way for you to get in contact with us.
We'll take it.
Exactly. Anything you want to say to us,
go for it.
We're easy. In a good way. Anyway, what we have today, as I load things up for us, Mike, as I said, it is, I have to do it like this. It is issue number 190 of World's Finest there. And what we can see already from the get-go is that all the villains now have super suits that they had. Remember, just a quick little refresher from last week, just to catch us up to where we were.
Sure.
Superman died. He fell out of the sky across Metropolis. We found out that he had gotten to a battle with a guy named Moltan. Remember?
Yeah.
And there was some sort of concussive blast from his belt that it was a delayed effect on Superman, and he ended up crashing back to Earth and dying. Batman had an envelope that Superman had given him at one point in time where it willed his body parts to the rightful, like, just people who were worthy of it. He felt that his super gifts needed to live on after he no longer did, he being Superman.
I am not sure that we're actually talking about a dead Superman.
We'll have to wait and see with this one. Anyway, there was a whole big fiasco. Supergirl had to go find special surgical tools in the Fortress of Solitude to be able to cut into Superman.
Sure.
And they were going to, everybody agreed that Batman deserved all of these body parts because Batman was, I guess, worthy of all the super parts.
Welcome to James Gunn's DCU.
Batman, like a normal person, was like, I don't think that I deserve this. You know, also, I have a heart that works. I have hands that work.
Was my argument. Why you take the guy's good heart out and put another heart in?
So Batman refused to accept any of Superman's super body parts. And what happened is Moltan told Lex Luthor that, hey, all Superman's body parts are being stored in this government facility. If you wanted to, you could go and instill them all and kind of, you know, use them however you saw fit.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what Lex Luthor did. And he auctioned off all the body parts except for the heart. He kept the heart for himself.
Sure.
To the big four crime syndicate, these big four like crime bosses who are obviously have their own crews that they run, but also are considered like for the, I guess, biggest baddies in Metropolis, Gotham, whatever. So each one of the big four got one of Superman's powers. One of them got his like heat vision, X-ray vision, all the visions in one.
Yeah.
One of them got his hands, which in turn was super strength. One of them got his lungs, which was like the super breath, or like the, you know, I guess the freeze breath wasn't a thing at this time because it's not used in the comic. But
oh, really?
Yeah, or at least.
So what is he using the super breath for?
I guess just giant, like the hurricane gust of winds, kind of
big.
He goes like, and it just blows things out of the way. And then that was Ace Shane. I do remember that. That was his name was Ace Shane.
That's his name?
Yeah, remember the guy who got the super lungs?
The guy that can blow? His name is Ace Shane.
Yeah, Ace Shane. Right. One was like King West. I don't remember all of the
this is all
bad guys' names. Oh, and then the Brain was the guy who got his Superman's ears, which gave him super hearing.
Which one is the big tubby guy?
That's Ace Shane. That's the guy who got the lungs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great.
So Lex Luthor basically surgically installed, I don't know what I could think of, the implanted. There we go.
Yeah.
All of these body parts to the big four. And that is where we left it, was that essentially now all these big villains had the powers of Superman.
Mm.
So we open the comic, Mike, and it's not what we really open it with, but I just wanted to show you this because it always makes me laugh.
Oh,
A giant stallion mural, fuel color masterpiece
oh, I love this
for
stuff.
free.
It's free.
If you want to,
You can get all 4 for $1.
you can, because I read
Wow.
comics and I want horse paintings. But the next thing we get to that we open it up, our story
Wow,
today,
look at all that text.
190, is called The Final Revenge of
Jeez
Luthor.
whiz.
Do you know what that is, Mike?
What?
It's a song. And would you
Oh
like me
my
to sing you the song?
God. Yeah, please.
Because this is called A Lament for Superman. As you see, like the little like folk singer down there on the left.
Yeah, seen.
And it goes, "Where are the eyes with which you saw through stone and steel without a flaw? Where are the eyes with which you saw?
God.
They're in the head of a bold outlaw, and they're fighting Batman to a draw, and all on account of Luthor."
Oh, man.
This is great, right?
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Where are the ears with which you heard from far away the faintest word? Where are the ears with which you heard? They've listened to as Robin and Batman conferred.
You
Beware,
giant super turd.
beware, or Robin's a lifeless bird, and all on account for Luthor.
He's a lifeless bird.
Oh man, where are the hands that were so strong? They were celebrated in the tale and song. Where are the hands that are so strong? They're dedicated to doing wrong, and if they get Batman, he won't live long. And all on account for Luthor.
Who celebrated Superman's hands in song? I mean,
the folks
before that, because he says that your hands were celebrated in song.
I'm assuming that was the first song this guy did. Like,
am I
he
missing
has a lament
Superman
for Superman
hand song?
now, but it could have been like, this is like has a string of Superman songs.
Well, I mean, I like know hand jive, from Greece.
That's a song. That's the name of the song.
Yeah, well, they do the hand jive. Yeah.
I know they do that, but I figured it'd be a.
I don't know. I don't know.
I realized I thought it would have a better name than hand jive.
I just
Where are the lungs with which
pay extra for
here
a
you
hand
go.
jive.
Where are the lungs with which you blew? A wind that over the landscape flew. Where are the lungs with which you blew? They're blowing away the Titanic too. Because I've never heard Batman and Robin referred to as the Titanic too.
No, it just happens to. Rhyme.
Alas, are Robin and Batman through? All on account of Luthor? Where is the heart that proudly beat? Where evildoers you did defeat? Where is the heart that proudly beat? It's owned by a villain, thief, and cheat. And to him the whole affair is sweet. The Final Revenge of Luthor.
If I didn't know this was from 1936 or
1969.
wherever, same thing. If I didn't know it was from there,
33 years.
if it was today,
Yeah.
I would say that's all AI.
The song?
Yeah.
Potentially.
So
what we're
where are
greeted
your
with here,
lungs that blew real hard?
it does kind
Why
of
do
sound
you
like it
wear
would be.
that big leotard?
Oh man. So in our story, I love how all the villains
That
now
one guy's huge.
that's a shame. I love
He's
how
a
they
big boy.
all the super villains have costumes, and they decided let's put the exact thing that we have
There's
on
one
our
guy-
costumes.
There's one guy that's just an ear.
Yeah, well,
He's
he
just got
has
a
the
big
super
ear.
hearing.
Oh my god.
And then the guy with the super strength just has a fist. The guy with the laser eyes has an eye, and then the guy with the lungs has just like a tornado.
Well, here's the thing. I don't mind the tornado, and I don't really mind the giant eye. Right?
Okay.
But a fist and an ear.
It doesn't really make sense.
The fist really bothers me.
Well, I just don't get I don't get what
I
it's
don't know what
for
you're
because it's just like
asking for.
sideways, like like I don't know.
Yeah.
So the big four are easily going through and committing crimes. It shows them like they go into a bank,
Sure.
like the guy with the brain with super hearing can hear that the officers are like a couple miles away. They're on patrol. Everything looks good. Now's the time. Like, the guy with the super breath, he like blows the doors down for them to get in. The one with the laser eyes melts the cop's gun that's there on hand. And then the one with super strength just rips the vault door off. Like, they're able to pull these robberies just really simply.
Did any of them huff and puff before they did it?
It doesn't say that
Okay.
they did, but I mean, I assume so.
Yeah.
The guy with super lungs for sure, at least. Batman and Robin
Sad sounds.
are able to figure out that it is, Big Dan Clay, King West, Brain Lewis, and Ace Shane,
Brain Lewis.
all the villains. And we find
Brain
out
Lewis
that
is Ear Boy.
Brain Lewis is Ear Boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
We
total
find
sense.
out that they're all like,
Big Dan Clay.
they figure out that the four basically faked their deaths to make it seem like they were no longer, that they were
okay.
no longer alive. And then in that time, like they disappeared and they were still the big four, but people didn't realize they were the four leading it. And so they find out they've kind of been like operating their gangs from a distance. And that's why they've been so hard to catch, is because the people they thought they were after obviously are alive when they thought they were dead. And now they have superpower or Superman's powers
So
too.
they faked their deaths.
They faked their deaths at first to kind of disappear. Yeah.
Okay.
Was there another part that?
No, I just did faking their deaths just seems like a very extreme thing to do when you're Big Cat Dan or whatever it is.
Big Dan Clay.
You want to get
Big
Superman's
Cat Dan.
thigh or whatever it is he has.
Batman and Robin do come across. Lex Luthor gives us like, oh yeah, he's kind of explaining himself what happened too, but I already gave you the rundown.
So is the green guy Mulak or whatever, he said?
whatever his
There
name
we
was?
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so Batman and Robin are off because they hear reports, and I don't remember, the King West, I think, is the guy
you
who
said
has
King
the
West,
vision.
Yeah.
He's off.
Because that sounds like a comic book syndicate.
Exactly.
Published by King West.
He's off committing other crimes. And what he does, though, I love this part, is Batman is able to pull from his utility belt, he and Robin both, these liquid lead pellets, and they throw it on the ground, and they're able to use it as shields because Superman, his vision, or he couldn't see through lead, and apparently his heat vision and stuff doesn't work through lead either. So they use them as shields to kind of fight back. And King West realizes, all right, I got to get away from them. He sets a building on fire to distract them. And Batman and Robin realize, oh, we need to go ahead and rescue the people that are in that building instead of chasing after King West.
That's a good idea.
Exactly. And so they go to deal with that while King West then disappears off into the night to go meet up with the rest of his gang. Actually, I think it was during the day.
Sure.
But
he had to meet Prince East.
Yeah.
And, Queen South.
Yeah. All of it, is that all of his friends are just
yeah, it's crazy because like
Jack North.
There's no North. That's the thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's only 3 of them.
Huh. That is weird. A little sad.
It seems like his kingdom is not complete.
No, not complete. I like doing that too. But
like,
let's
just agree with me. Yeah, no, he's not complete.
Well, I don't know what to say with that.
I know.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
At this point, it's just easier to go along with you than
these
to keep
guys' big heads.
They are. Well, really, it's the brain, and I think he has a big head because of his massive brain. We see them committing another robbery. Ace Shane uses his breath while Brain Lewis is able to listen to the lock and pick it. And then we also see that cops come across a man, or an armored truck comes across a man laying in the middle of the road, and they get out to check on him. Oh no, it's the dude. It's Big Dan Clay, who has the super strength.
Can you go back one?
Of course.
At the top there.
Yeah.
Why are they in suits? Like they've got these super suits, right? That they're wearing. Are they trying to blend in before they do the crime?
The thing that I love.
They still have the masks on.
Yeah, the thing that I love about this too, Mike, is that while they were in those suits, though, like, and you look at it, they have their mask on still. Yeah. So it's like they're just walking down the street. They're wearing their suits and their mask. Like you wouldn't notice something was off there already.
It's like if you saw a luchador going to a wedding.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing: is like luchadors are notorious, or at least for a while, that they would keep their mask on for everything.
Yeah.
Because it was like it's a sign of respect.
I still don't know what Rey Mysterio's face looks like.
Oh, you haven't? There was a time in WCW in the late 90s where, well, anyway, he hasn't taken it off since then.
Yeah.
But
really? He's wearing it again?
He still wears it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But it's like I went back and rewatched the first episode of Peacemaker, and it's kind of like he shows up for their first meeting in full costume, like at the diner that they're going to meet. Like they laugh at him for it because it's like, all right, that's, you could be a little more, inconspicuous about it. But so they just don't care. I guess they're just walking out there of like, hey,
it's a different time.
It is. So Dan Clay, though, the cops get out
He
to
just
go.
punches an armored car.
He does punch it on. Well, and he breaks it in half. He like smashes it all the way in half.
Yeah,
as
it
he
makes
does
total
it.
sense. Yeah.
And so I love he brings up the fact that Superman used to do this and like tie his guns around people.
Yeah.
And so here, I'll zoom in on it for you.
No,
So
you're fine. You're fine. I'm marveling at Batman and Robin sitting around a round table, like in the cave.
They are sitting around a round table.
Yeah.
And here's where I love here because
No, Robin, go to the meeting table.
they're trying to figure. Well, he was like, this is the eating table.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
converse and we think at the meeting table. While they're sitting there,
No
they're
phones at
trying
the
to figure
meeting
out like what we should do. Like obviously these guys are just running, wreaking havoc on everything.
Running amok.
Running amok indeed. And Robin says, in the Batcave that night, wouldn't you know it, like while we're sitting here like trying to wouldn't you know it, while we were fighting the fire, the big four pulled 2 more jobs, is what
Yeah.
he's saying.
That's what they'll do.
And Batman's like, yes, it won't be easy to take them out, but if only Superman were here. And Robin's now the one, because remember, it was Batman like, oh,
Yeah.
he's gone. But Robin's like, but he's gone.
Yeah.
He can't help us nab these 4 rats. And
Dumbass.
Batman says, right, we're on our own, but if we can hold out until our hour, we have a good fighting chance.
What the hell is
And
that
at the
mean?
bottom, that's what it says. It goes, what does he mean? What is our hour? What do you think
Got it,
our
got
hour
it.
is, Mike?
I think that well, I don't know. Bat o'clock. I don't know. what
Bat
that
o'clock
means.
is solid.
Yeah.
We do see though
Oh,
on
look
the
at us.
next one, that was a terrible.
Now we're down in
idea of me.
we're down in the bottom there. Oh,
we
there you go.
are.
All
I'm
right,
just
good to go.
we're learning
You're
along
experimenting.
all together.
Sure, be enterprising. It says right
I didn't
there.
think you needed to see the Ravel ad, so our bar can sit there right now. But we're back at like Luthor's headquarters, and they're all talking about all the jobs that they've pulled and like how much money they've made. And they're like, oh, it's just so simple with all of Superman's powers. Like we coughed up plenty of scratch to pay Luthor for all this. But I mean, for the transplant, it's a bargain with how much money we've been able to make off
Yeah,
of it,
sure,
though.
sure.
So he's like, we're just having fun now still and making so much money. And Luthor, while he's sitting there thinking, he goes like, these 4 dodos certainly must be rejoicing with their new powers, but like they think just like the 4 of them think just like everybody else. Like they value money more than anything, but I have bigger plans than ever that I've dreamed of. And I guess he's talking about using his heart there. If you wanted to see it, because I know you do, like it's a battleship for the
Oh, look at
Ravel.
that.
It's
Yeah.
the month of October model of the month, which we talked about last time, though.
Uh-huh.
This comic came out in December.
Yeah.
So you don't know what you're getting at
The
that time, I
USS
guess.
Enterprise.
So we now come to part 2 of our story,
Oh, man.
which is the finale of this. And Lex Luthor ends up telling us his plan. And his plan is that he's going to use the money that he made from them paying him for all those parts.
Yeah.
And he's going to, I guess, build some sort of spaceship to kind of like it. That's what it looks like, but to hover over and steal all the world's atomic weapons. Right.
Ah, there we
And
go.
then what he's going to do is it showed him there, like in front of world leaders. And he tells them, this is what happened. And it shows an atomic bomb going off.
Yeah.
This is what happened to the last country who didn't, meet my demands. And I'll bring it back up actually, because it's too funny not to, because while they're sitting there waiting, they're like, oh, I guess we have no choice. Luthor, we must give up and name you ruler of the world.
What?
So that's what Lex Luthor
It's a
wants.
very
He
low bar.
literally wants to rule the world in
Yeah.
this.
Well, everybody does.
That's true. Tears for Fears taught me that.
Yep. I saw them perform
In Sean's backyard. On
no,
site.
it was on
the one-
YouTube the other day. There's a recording of them doing that song now. God, they are so old, but they're
all of us now,
really
Mike.
still good at that song.
Oh, what's a great song.
Yeah, they have 2 songs basically. They have that one and one other one. I
Shout,
can't-
shout.
Oh, there's that.
let it
Maybe they have
all out.
3.
What's the other one then?
I don't remember.
Yeah, no, there were more than one hit wonders.
Okay,
So
they're close.
Batman and Robin are driving along then, and they notice the trees kind of are, blowing with like hurricane gale
Superman.
force winds.
Yeah.
So they go to see that it's the Brain Lewis and Ace Shane are there, super ears and super lungs.
Yeah.
And when they show up, Super Lungs decides to blow
Super
Batman and
Lungs.
Robin away.
Sure.
But instead of, if you look at the bottom panels, but instead of falling when Ace shuts, it says when Ace shuts, I guess like, oh, when he quits blowing
Hey, shuts.
off his super breath. Oh, there's not a period there. It looks like a period.
Oh, he shuts off his super breath.
Let's try
Gotcha,
this
gotcha,
again.
gotcha.
Take two. But instead of falling when Ace shuts off his super breath, the cowed crime buster remains midair. Good thing I wore this collapsible anti-gravity belt Superman once gave
What
me.
the hell?
Quick, grab my hand, Robin. And Robin says, you don't have to beg me. And as the Cape crew, and so they just are floating there in the air.
Wonderful.
And he's able
Who
to let,
Who knew Batman had that power?
yeah, he's able
With
to
his
let
super belt.
Robin down while he's floating. But while he's up
Mm.
in the air, Ace Shane gives him another blast, and Batman kind of floats away.
does. Yeah.
But as Ace Shane quits breathing, Robin runs and like kind of tackles him right in the
hits him right in the rib cage.
yeah. Where do you
Yeah.
send like what your diaphragm? There you go. He like hits
He
him
hit
right
him-
in the
Hit
diaphragm
him right in
there.
the super breath.
And Batman does like a flip over and lands on his feet, but when he lands, his feet kick Brain Lewis in the brain
Yeah, right in the
as he
brain.
comes down, and he grabs Brain Lewis and he lifts him up, and they're about to
You do understand how ridiculous this is,
oh
right?
for sure.
Okay. All right.
And they're
Just
about
making
to.
sure.
That's why we love. That's the thing. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
I did
yeah, yeah. I
these
get it, I
on
get it.
Wednesday, because the 60s and 70s stuff, it's ridiculous, but in like the best possible way.
Sure.
Like all of it is just so great.
Yeah.
So, as they're about to, like, he has,
good to see
Brain
Plastic
Lewis
Man
up,
there.
and he's like, the only thing your super hearing is going to be is, hearing what's going on in the state pen.
Wah,
And
wah.
about that time, Ace Shane sends another giant gust through that knocks Batman and the Boy Wonder kind of off
Boy.
their feet, and they're knocked out, and the two leave. And it says that night at Wayne Manor, after attending to assorted bruises and sore muscles, which I guess is what those red lasers they're laying on are.
Yes.
Robin says, how sure can you be of the approximate time of our hour if it happens at all? Remember, it's only a theory. And Batman says, I know, Dick, but it's a risk that
Pardon me?
must be taken
What'd
since
you say?
Superman is gone.
What did you say? What was the first sentence there?
I know, Dick. ...
I'm not trying to be cheap, but
I know it.
I mean, come on.
You should know it too, maybe. If
Mhm.
not, get familiar.
Mhm.
But Batman says that even just to make sure, he went ahead and he sent a what did he call it? Oh, a news report to be read to kind of lure the big
Sure.
four out.
Yeah.
And so it shows the news cameras, and it sits there and it says like Batman has a super or secret weapon that can take down the big four finally.
Superman's
And he's going
testicles.
to and he's challenging them to like a duel at Frontier Town
Are-
at noon.
Are you freaking serious?
No, it
Frontier
says-
Town?
It says here, I'll pull it up on the 11 o'clock news. And so confident is Batman in his mysterious secret weapon that he is publicly challenging the big four to a showdown at noon tomorrow in Frontier Village. My bad. Village, not town.
They need to add a couple more things to this comic.
Well, they did.
I mean,
so
Frontier Village.
here we go. This is the part that
Uh,
you've been waiting for, Mike. Our
Let's learn to
big-
make milk,
our
butter,
big showdown.
fight the four.
So they all show up there, and as Batman and Robin show up,
Why is it in a cowboy village?
because it's Frontier Town. Where else are you gonna have a duel, Mike?
This is so God Almighty! Wow. Okay.
So, but before Batman can like blink,
Wait, what year did you say this was?
69.
Okay.
It's
All right.
December of 69.
Well, and what I'm thinking is like there was a big cowboy thing at that point. You know, they were making a lot of cowboy movies, a lot of like the Rifleman and stuff like that. So I'm assuming that's why they went to a weird ass cowboy town.
Because there were a lot of cowboy things going on.
Well,
at the
I
time.
think in the zeitgeist at that time,
Cowboys
there
were
were a
big.
lot of cowboy things.
Cowboys were
Yeah,
big in the
yeah,
zeitgeist.
Cowboys were big.
I get that. So,
Big bad cowboys.
but we see that as the four show up, like one of them sneaks up behind Batman with a super strength. The other one tells Robin to dance and gives him like a hot foot. Like we were getting,
Dance, monkey.
yeah, exactly. Like we're getting full on. It's like we're in the West. It's like when
Yeah.
they shoot, they
Yeah.
dance, except
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
heat
except
vision.
it's lasers.
And they tell them all like, you know what? We know that you don't have any weapon. Like, this was just a bluff to kind of get us out here. But you know what? I don't see any reason for us to let them live another minute. Check, these two have been giving us, or it goes, check, these two have been giving us trouble for long enough. And Brain says, hit them with all your powers at once. I'll use my super ears to tell you when their hearts stop beating.
What?
And then the super strength guy says, suits me. And then, are you ready, Mike?
Yep.
Because unexpectedly, I'm blind. Everything has
no.
gone black. Hey, Shane, I can't breathe, choking. And then the ears, I can't hear anything. I'm deaf. And then all of a sudden, the guy with super strength, my hands, they're paralyzed. I can't move them at all. Swiftly, Batman gets some equipment from the Batmobile. Our hour. Their bodies all rejected the transplants at the same time.
What the hell?
That's what our hour was him waiting for their bodies to reject it. I told you, time moved really weird in this. They needed weeks to heal.
Oh my God.
Remember that. Well, real quick before I go back to us, because I'll explain this.
Yeah.
Also on the panel there is Batman's getting oxygen to kind of save Ace Shane, who can't breathe. Lex Luthor hits it with his like dissolving ray, and so he just the ray or the oxygen just goes away, and we'll come back to that and what happens to Ace Shane.
Go Ace Shane.
But let's think about this time wise, because it is ridiculous. Lex Luthor installed all these body parts on all these criminals, and it said that it took weeks for them to heal up.
Yeah.
Weeks meaning plural at least.
Yeah, sure.
They've outbeen,
at the very least 14 days.
right?
Yeah.
Now they've outbeen, I'd say, committing crimes for about another week at least.
So now we're
3
going 21
weeks.
days. Yeah.
Their bodies haven't rejected it until then. Not only that, when they rejected him, they rejected the body parts all at the same time.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
It doesn't, but
Makes no sense.
that's the comic. So we'll go ahead and we'll wrap up here our final, because there's only a couple pages left.
Are they okay?
So Lex Luthor,
shit! What do you know? Superman's back.
I guess I could have saved that a bit before we got there.
Ah, you're good.
But he's like, Lex Luthor tells him, I realized that they had to be synthetic replicas because you didn't use kryptonite on them. Like if it were really Superman's parts, kryptonite, you could
That's
have easily
honestly
used.
the first thing that's made any sense. Yeah.
And so the fact that you didn't made me check the heart more, and I realized that, oh, it's not real. And that's where he's like, Superman's probably not even dead either. And so he goes to shoot Batman and Robin with his, what does he call his weapon there that gets rid of the matter smasher is what he calls it, that caused it to dissolve. And it says, all of a sudden, that's where you see Superman's hand pop up. And it's like, oh, you wouldn't hurt my friends, would you?
Where the hell's he been?
And he goes, hiding? It doesn't say where he's been. So, I mean, it explains
So
a little
hiding.
bit.
Well, these guys are committing crimes with what is supposed to be his body parts.
Yeah.
And then he shows up at Frontier Village.
Frontier Town, Mike.
Whatever.
Frontier
He shows
Town.
up there and he's like, you're not going to hurt my friends, are you?
Yeah.
Where the hell you been, Superman?
Waiting for this plan to go through, because
Super
they did it
dipshit.
to bring out the Big Four. Because now they caught
That's
the crime
ridiculous.
syndicate. Remember, that's who they were after this whole time, was the Big Four syndicate.
So this was all a plan.
It
from
was
day one.
all a plan. Come on, it's
And then
Superman
about a
and
month
Batman.
later, Superman's like, hey, peekaboo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Superman goes to tell us how he faked his own death.
Oh.
So he tells him that while he was out on his space mission, he went to New Krypton. New Krypton is a place that he and Supergirl built that's
Okay.
like Krypton, but it's Westworld. It's only full
Yeah.
of androids.
Okay.
Of like his mom, and he has a mom and dad android,
Oh
and he
my
has
God.
like cousin androids. It's
I want to
kinda
see that movie.
Superman with all the Westworld.
Superman with all the Westworld people. Yeah.
Well, and
want
so he's there and he's visiting his parents on New Krypton. Or
He's
his fake
visiting his
parents.
android parents on
Yeah.
New Krypton.
Says, when I
Sure.
landed, I was met by android doubles of my parents, Jor-El and Laura, which I've never understood, while his Krypton parents were Jor-El and Laura, and not like, Laura L, because everybody
Yeah.
else is something L, but his
Yeah.
mom's just Laura.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Well,
And he says
she came
that,
from money. She kept her name.
like this New Krypton, it's entirely peopled by lifeless android duplicates of the men and women who once lived there. So while he's there, he's like, hey, as soon as I was talking to the android replica of my father's brother, Nim L, he's like, oh, I've noticed we look
Android
alike.
replica of my father's brother.
Yeah, he goes, this is an
Wow.
important mission, Uncle Nim L. Only you can do it because you look just like me.
Uncle Nim L.
Uncle Nim L.
So, okay, hang on. Let me catch up.
Okay.
So we took the android uncle and cut him up.
Yeah. Well, here's what happened. Let me explain
Okay,
it, and
I'm
then
sorry.
we'll.
Yeah, I'm
No,
getting a little
that's
lost here.
fine, and we'll get into it because it's our last page here. So yeah, he tells him that I had the constructed androids. I had constructed the android's brain so that I could deactivate them with a beam of X-ray vision. I did this over Metropolis Park after having Nim L dress in a costume like mine. So essentially, he shot his heat vision, killed the android, and the android fell to Earth in that park, and that's what was there. And then it says, to get evidence against the Big Four, we hope to lure them into committing crimes with their new powers. But I was called away on an emergency mission. So he had another mission he was off on, right? That's why
Okay.
where he's been for the last month.
All right.
I love how they just in this. So Batman and I were on our own. However, Superman had calculated the crooks' bodies might reject the transplants shortly after noon today. The last
okay.
speech bubble, though,
Yeah.
and they did. We may be able to help the others through surgery, but it's too late for Ace now. He paid the supreme penalty for his crimes.
So Ace is dead.
The end. Ace is dead because of Lex Luthor, I would say. I would say it's not even like Batman went to get oxygen to save him, and Lex just disintegrated it for no reason.
This is insane.
And that is what happened to Superman and his body
So
parts.
can I ask one question?
Go ahead.
Why did the android have superpowers?
Because they were all duplicates like they are.
Okay.
I mean,
Sure.
do you want, I don't know what answer you want me to give you. There's not a logical
Oh, I
one
don't.
to give you.
Yeah. I'm just asking. I thought maybe I missed something. you
No,
know, where
It's,
we're gonna,
I'm assuming that it's just all, other, like they all have powers because they're like replicas. So,
okay. Well, then here's what I would do.
Mhm.
Okay. I'd bring all those androids to Earth
Mhm.
and just conquer crime. I mean, because you got like an army.
but then you kind of fall into like evil dictator Superman with his army of super people.
Well,
Not saying that Superman would do that. Like, I don't think that
maybe.
Superman would, but he might not even need them all. He might just need to bring like 5 or
but
6 of them with
instead
him.
you're just cutting one up, and then not only you're cutting one up, but you're then surgically implanting it into people.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I'm not saying that plan wasn't ridiculous. It was very
Yeah.
ridiculous, but
I think they need an adult in the room when Batman and Superman talk to each other.
it's Robin. I think Robin's the one with the most sense. Most
That's
of the
the
time,
problem right
unfortunately.
there, right? You got Robin watching over these two grown adults with powers and money.
So there you go. That is the conclusion to what
Yikes.
happened to Superman's parts. You got to hear me sing. Well,
Yeah,
talk,
It's
sing.
good.
You got to see the ridiculousness that was our hour because
Love
their
it.
bodies rejected it weeks later.
I still don't know why they
Android
call
parts.
it that.
Rejecting hour, I'm assuming.
But hour,
Hour, H-O-U-R.
right? But is it OURHOUR?
No, R as in the letter R. Hyphen hour.
See, I thought it was hour.
No, that is just my
Got it.
Texas accent.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I heard it that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Huh.
No. So there you
Okay.
go. That's what happened to wrap up that world's finest story.
Yeah, it's dumb.
And
as
you
hell.
know what we'll have for you next Wednesday? Probably another one that Mike thinks is dumb.
Well, that's
think these
okay.
things are- yeah,
It-
that's
it's
the
great
beauty
that
of it.
they're
They're
dumb.
hilarious.
Yeah.
But
Again, just one more time. These are written for children.
that is true. These
So,
are this time.
If
so we
you
know
if you
what,
think
yeah,
of that like that, then it's fine.
it is.
Yeah. It's
But they
basically
are.
Bluey, but
Well,
from the
no,
60s.
Bluey's really good though.
is it?
I like Bluey a lot.
Mom. Yeah.
That you need to say it with a more Australian. thing.
Dad. Yeah.
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 Bingo. Or Bingo's one of the. Is Bingo? I don't know. I've
Bingo.
watched a lot of it.
Jeff.
I like it. I like it. It's good. I'll probably watch it with
Frank, who
my
lives in
little
the
one.
bush. Yeah.
So there you go. Another World's Finest Wednesday. What we'll have for you next week?
He said Bluey's good.
It is. I like it. We'll have another Silver Age
Okay.
shenanigans type
Yeah,
adventure for you. Probably another World's Finest. I do know one that I found. Because I had to use it for a short the other day.
Yeah.
The like meme that everybody knows about Batman smacking Robin.
Mm-hmm.
It's from a World's Finest. I figured out which one it was because I came
Yeah.
across it the other day too.
Yeah, let's do that.
But we have plenty of us to choose from. So you'll have to tune in next Wednesday to see what crazy adventures Batman and Superman are up to this time.
Yippee!
As always, we have our regular Bros, Foes, and Heroes episodes on Monday. Coming up on Monday, I have some fun stuff in store. It's I feel like we needed a little funny. Not funny, ridiculous. That's what the show is. I don't know why I say like we're doing something new.
Boosh.
But we have some stuff that I think will hopefully get a kick out of Mike. So promo comics in a way, or promotional comics.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Are always great.
I love
And
the
I have
branded
stumbled
stuff.
across some really good ones for us to go ahead and get into. So that's what you're looking forward to on Monday.
I really hope it's Superman and Magnum condoms.
It's
That would
not.
be the best.
It's not. There is the ones I found are more Marvel themed this time. That's
Oh, yeah?
usually where our PSAs seem to come from.
They
DC
do.
has some too.
Yeah.
There's some that they made. I'll give you. I haven't read them yet, and I don't know if I'm going to do them because they're pretty short. But there's some that they did for the Justice League movie.
Yeah.
That are tied in with Mercedes-Benz.
Oh my god.
And it looks like lifelike art of like Gal Gadot as like Wonder Woman and like Ray Fisher as Cyborg
Driving a
and,
Mercedes.
yeah, and they're like driving Mercedes in them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like that really long Jeep Renegade ad from Batman vs Superman where Ben Affleck's just driving it through the city, and then they made a Batman version of the Jeep Renegade
Yeah.
because that's a thing. Anyway, thank you as always for taking the time out to listen. Make sure to check out all the other great podcasts across the Rogue Media Network family of podcasts.
RogueMediaNetwork.com. I think I came in a little early.
You
Sorry.
did. That's fine
okay.
though.
I
But
didn't have my glasses on.
until next time, stay safe, everybody.
Golly Con, folks.
Bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about pros and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.
Welcome into no.